need to know about this now or later on. It's about the Historical Society and how much we think that we may be needing and what we might like from the town.
Okay, I don't have
No,
that
it's not, it's not on there.
It's
as
not
an
an agenda, so shoot.
Okay, well,
No.
we are just beginning the process of putting the whole thing together.
Okay.
We've got to incorporate, we've got a bunch of things to do, and I've gotten pricing on what it costs to do just those things. Incorporation is $30, the 501c3 could be between $400 and $850. New Hampshire charitable registration is $25. We'd want
$25 or $25?
$25.
Okay.
Post office box would be $64 a year. Nonprofit kit, which would give us a place to put all of our documents and things that are needed, that's $129, and then to get a registered agent, that's $99. So total on that, depending on whether we go with whether it's $850 or $400 for the 501c3, it's either $1,197 or $747. So those are things that we know that we need to do. And then there's also, I haven't gotten a price on it, but a preservation needs assessment, which would be a company coming in and telling us how to store our documents, what to do with them, how to categorize them, what basically we need to do to start all this stuff up. So, and there are grants and things that are
Do you have a
available for
ballpark on a preservation needs assessment?
I have no idea.
Is it 500, is it 20,000?
that. I don't know right now. I've called them and they haven't gotten back to me, but
Is it a necessity?
I think it is, because we're dealing with things that are, very valuable to the
Okay,
town.
the question I would have now would be that before we go, this is just my own, right off the top of my head, because I wasn't prepared for this, that if this preservation thing is gonna be 20 grand, then we really need to have to look at the whole project and the scope of
Okay.
it. And why should we spend 1,000 now if we are gonna have 20 grand, which might put it out of reach going forward?
Okay,
So if possible, can we get an idea of the scope of what that is going to cost?
I will get that as soon as possible, as soon
just-
as we can,
just-
as soon as they get back to me.
To see where we really sit with this project.
Okay, and
Whether
oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Because it might be a warrant article as opposed
Mhm.
to a simple, just out of our reserve fund, if we hit a certain level.
Okay, I don't think it would be outrageous, and I'm hoping that we can get everything back for it through some grants. There's a grant through the Moose Plates, and there's another grant that is available. I think the deadline for that is May.
And the Historical Society would pursue the grant?
Oh, yeah, we
Okay.
can do all that stuff, but we've gotta become a 501c3 and a corporation or incorporated before we can do anything.
And we can't
for
operate
whatever.
under the auspices of the town for now?
I think it's better not to. I think it gives
Why?
us, if we're incorporated in 501c3, then the money goes to us. We can raise money through, as a charity,
Right.
better than being with the town. I've talked to, my son is now an executive director of a museum, and he's saying, no, you don't wanna be part of the town, you wanna be on your
Even
own.
a small town such as ours, where we are different than?
I think we wanna be separate. I think the ownership of the documents and everything else is better if we, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know all the legalities of it, but even, I spoke with someone from the gentleman that we met up
He was
at,
from the state library.
from the state library, and he seemed to think that we should be separate as well. And a few other nonprofit organizations seem to think we should be our own entity.
Any questions, Bill?
No.
Margaret? Could you come in and ask us for $1,000 now to get this rolling, or should we put it on hold?
Why
Or
don't
what do you-
we
what-
put it
Well,
in?
I don't think, if we
If
just
it's
need to do it
$1,000,
for
we can do it.
$1,000,
Yeah.
then we don't need to,
We don't
That's
need
what I'm
to.
saying,
That
that
answers
with-
the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
question. I mean, that shouldn't be a problem.
No, that's what I'm trying to.
And
Okay,
if-
no, I would love to get
If they
started.
can secure grants before they become a 501c3, the town you have the authority to accept unanticipated
Right, oh, no,
grants
I've got that.
during the year, so.
Right, but I'm just saying, do we wanna give them $1,000 to get the ball rolling? Or wait to find out about this
Well, it
preservation?
sounded
I
like
think
if
your
they're on the upper
suggestion
end
was
of
to wait.
501c3, you need more like $1,500.
She got
rounding
1,100 and something of it, so.
$1197 or $747.
1,200 as opposed to 1,000 if the 501c3.
Well, make the motion if you care to.
Yeah, but we're gonna just take this out of operating, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I
But,
move
but
that we.
do you wanna do it, do you need that money like now or after town meeting?
I would like it before town meeting, because this way, if we start applying for things, we need to be incorporated, so I need the money to incorporate, to get a
Okay.
post office box, and
I'd like to make a motion that we allot 1,200 out of the operating budget to, the, what's your official name?
the Waterville Valley Historical Society.
Waterville Valley Historical Society.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okey doke. All right, we'll move on to the approval of minutes. All right, the workshop first. Bill, did you have anything on?
No, well, to be honest, I haven't read them, and I'm reading them now, but,
Right.
no, I have not seen anything in what I've read.
I had one on line 61. With this line, it goes, by completing these activities, it is thought that this will eliminate the E. coli and greatly reduce. I'd like to change will to might, because there is no guarantee. And that was the only thing I had on that one. Margaret, did you have anything?
No.
No.
All right, so there's a motion to approve the minutes of the workshop on the 13th. I will make that motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the minutes of the regular meeting, which I was not here for, so do you want to take a chance?
Well, Margaret was the vice chair.
Mhm. Did you see anything in there?
No, I didn't. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Okay, and I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved, we'll move on. All right, so the only person we have for any kind of report would be Public Works. So, Jim?
Yes, been a busy couple of weeks, busy holiday period for us. I just kinda went through my notes on my calendar. Starting on the 9th of December, we got 5 inches of snow, followed by the 12th with 12 inches. Got cold. The 18th, we had 4 inches of flurries. And we had rain, and then we had another 2 inches of snow on the 19th. We had snow on the 22nd, and followed by freezing rain and 1.5 inches of rain. And then we got 10 inches of snow on Christmas. And then we went into the deep freeze and emerged from the bomb cyclone, going into 40 degrees. So it's been kind of hectic. The
Been
guys,
exciting.
Yeah.
the guys have been busy through Christmas and New Year's. The guys worked. There was 3 of us that worked 13 days straight without a day off, and some of them were pretty long. The good news is that nobody really had to do any overnights, because the timing was such that we could always get out about 11 o'clock and get back in here at 5 or 6 in the morning. So at least you got a shower, a meal, and 4 hours of sleep in your own bed. So
Well,
that's good.
I think they did a terrific job with
They
this.
did.
Good.
And all the,
Especially with the cold weather.
and all the equipment held up?
Just a couple of glitches, but we were able to get things back on
Yeah.
up and running and moving. So.
Hydraulic lines, and
Yeah.
especially with the trash truck.
The
That's
trash
been our
truck was a
biggest
problem. We had the backup, of course, from Christmas, and sent the truck north. It was so cold, the load froze on the truck. And when the truck got to Bethlehem, generally speaking, they can help you unload it with an excavator. And unfortunately, that excavator didn't run for 3 days. All of the equipment was all frozen and gelled up there. So we were
So-
able to take it to Warren, to Witchers, and unload it there. So we made several trips to Witcher. He helped us out. He was really good about it. He helped us out of a jam.
So one of the questions I have with the garbage, which was it Christmas week, the weekend after
Yep.
Christmas, that everything was
Yeah.
packed down here.
Mhm.
I thought a couple of years ago, we had talked about buying a whole bunch of extra dumpsters. And if need be, we would just take the full ones, push them up there and bring empty ones down. Did we ever do that?
We bought
My
some,
memory
no,
failing me here.
we bought some extras, however, we've had dumpsters that have rotted out. And we've replaced those, so we have unserviceable dumpsters. And so we can't use them. So we have used those extra ones that we purchased to replace.
How much?
But we did have two, if I
And we did.
can just interject, we, we put two extra ones out that we
Right.
had. And those, of course, were full.
Right.
Prior to this, seeing where everything was going, the Thursday before the weekend, I ordered a roll-off, a 30-yard
Right.
roll-off, so that at least stuff on the ground, we could at least get the stuff into a container and contain some of this mess. Due to the cold weather, the same problems, we were unable to
Get the 30-yarder.
get the 30-yard can here. The company couldn't service us. So that was the plan. If we'd have had that can, we'd have been okay.
Should we buy a can? I'm just
Our own
concerned,
equipment.
we've got this problem every Christmas.
Right.
And it's part of the fact that you've got this huge crush of volume
Sure.
compared to normal periods. And
Yeah.
even if there wasn't any snow, it's a problem. Let's forget about the snow for the time being.
Right.
What's the answer to having to handle the Christmas surge?
Well, we have used 10 and 30-yard roll-on, roll-off dumpsters before.
Right.
We've ordered them and they've been delivered. This was just a situation where his equipment failed and he couldn't deliver that can to us. So I would not be in favor of purchasing one because we really don't have anywhere to keep it. And we only need it probably 2 or 3 weeks out of the year.
For those 2 or 3 weeks out of the year that we need it, can we just order the thing?
No.
Period?
That's why
I mean,
We've
not
been
wait
doing
until we know we got a problem, but order it ahead of time and have it dropped even for a week or so.
And
in
that's what
advance.
we've done in the past.
Yeah, and that's what we did this time because you see, you got a 3-day weekend.
Right. Oh, yeah, right,
Now, if Christmas fell on a Wednesday, the landfill would have been open Monday, Tuesday.
right.
So, but the landfill closed for the 3-day weekend. That coupled with the cold is the reason well, it was closed for 3 days. I knew that was gonna be true. I knew that Friday we were gonna be full and the truck was gonna be full. And I knew that Monday we weren't gonna be able to get rid of it until Tuesday. So that's why I ordered the roll-off.
Right.
But,
But like a February vacation period, we will get a roll-off
yeah,
and have it here prior to that week.
Okay.
And we'll keep it here for February vacation week, and we shouldn't
Right.
have any problems.
Okay.
and then you're right, Bill, in hindsight, I should have ordered it on a Monday or, you know.
Right, well, we'll order it a week ahead of
Yeah,
time.
we'll just
you
order
know,
it a week
and
ahead.
give yourself some latitude, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
But, it took a full 3 days to get caught up. I mean, we caught up here at Central within a day after we finally got the load off of the truck.
That was a full load.
But that
This was one full load.
was just the pickup of the
Right.
stuff on the ground.
yeah,
Right.
So it took a few days. We got a few phone calls about it, but they eventually got caught back up.
all right.
Okay.
And that's my story.
All right, we got enough salt, we got enough sand.
Yes.
Catch basin's gonna be okay for the rain?
Should be.
All right, question, is there a way to get the plow with the wings down closer? That was a question people had about the plowing.
What about it?
Well, one of the things that becomes apparent, and I know it's not our fault because we don't have the manpower that the DOT has, is that people come off of 49 and hit Waterville, and all of a sudden the surface changes dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
And the question that I have is, can we get the plow's edges down closer to get a cleaner shave than we've been getting?
We've got all new cutting edges, so.
It wasn't.
It was,
No, I'm just trying to find out because
No,
I'm getting a
that-
lot
that
of
wasn't
calls
the
and
issue.
questions
Yeah,
about it.
No,
Cold.
but you're right, because one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of the traffic coming up 49 turns left.
Turning left.
Yeah,
And then what happens with us, is that we can put the salt, we can plow it, and we can put the salt in it, and it looks just like 49, till everybody starts turning left, and we don't get the traffic to get the salt and to make the slush, to get it. So
okay,
that-
no, that, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
find out so I can answer people's
That's one of the
questions.
frustrating things,
Yeah.
because, if
So
we
it's
can
the
get
lack
it-
of volume on the road that's causing this stuff to not,
Well, it was a combination of the cold weather, so
Yeah,
the
no, no,
salt
I-
wasn't as effective, and we don't have the traffic to work the salt into the snow. That's what makes it meal up, and then they can plow it off, and that's why I-93 and Route 49 are clear, because they get the traffic volume, and they can clean it up easier than we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the same thing is happening on Upper Mad River Road and all of the side roads in Thornton. They don't use salt, so the roads are really bad there. They're still snow covered because there hasn't been any breakup
Right.
after the cold weather. So
Okay.
Yeah,
the cold's really
Plymouth
killing us.
were terrible, and at one point ours, I was getting a little worried, but I'm pretty proud of the job that we did, because
oh no, I think, yeah,
we
I
look
think,
a heck of a lot better than anybody
Yeah.
else out there, any other town out there.
okay. And let's get back to the dumpsters for a second.
Mhm.
So you're saying we do have extra dumpsters, but they're out of service? So do we
No.
need to get new extra dumpsters to have backups, or have them
No,
fixed?
we have several that are in for repair,
Okay,
okay? However, repair of equipment holds priority over repair of a dumpster.
Right, I hear you.
okay, so we do our own
So
dumpster
we'll-
repairs?
we do our
We do our own.
Well, I like
in-house
your
dumpster repair.
suggestion of just automatically
Or-
order the roll-offs
Yep,
The week
A
before
a week
Christmas?
ahead.
Yep.
You know, and have them sit here empty for 2 weeks.
Yep.
You know, it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
yep.
Good, well,
Did we change the overtime policy?
Not yet,
We
'Cause we
haven't
haven't.
changed it yet.
that's right.
Okay. Were there any kind of not so nice situations for these people that were working 13 hours a
We
day or
had a
13 days in a
we had
row?
a few people who worked during the holiday, or
Oh,
during
yeah, we work
Christmas, so.
Christmas and-
So they got just the time and a half, or the double time and a half, and not the extra overtime that we have discussed, but we haven't changed that yet.
So we're going from double time and a half to what?
Oh, they get
Double
double
time
time, I'm
instead
sorry,
of- Oh, okay.
double
They get
time,
double time.
Uh,
going to double time and a half,
All right.
yeah.
all right. Well, I'd like to have it read into the record that we appreciate the hard work that you guys did, putting in all
Right.
that time and all those hours those guys did to keep us as safe and as clear as
Absolutely.
possible.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
Absolutely.
great. All right, do we have anything else for Jim today?
He's got a couple of budget items, but that's
All
in a
right,
few minutes.
all right. Anything from rec you want to convey, or public safety you want to convey to us, Mark?
No, the recreation department had a very big week, during the Christmas
Imagine.
week. Her numbers, I'd like her to come in and talk to you about her end of year numbers, but, she made budget plus on her revenues, and, yeah, it was very busy. The weather, of course, had a lot to do with that,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, because of the
Yeah.
extreme cold, I
Yeah.
mean, and I know my grandson was over in the gym, they said
Yep.
it was marked.
It is,
I mean, I
it
didn't
was
take
the
him
whole
over,
week.
but,
All right, we'll move on to calendar review. Next meeting date. Do we want to get back on our regular schedule, or is? that
Well,
what we're
this
trying to do?
actually puts us back on
This
our
is our
regular
regular
Okay.
schedule.
All right, great.
So
then.
the 24th would be the next, meeting.
All right, that's good
24th,
for everybody?
right?
Opening night for me.
Well, we'll make sure you get out of here early and rested.
I probably have to be at 5 though.
Oh,
and
right.
That should work.
Mentally, I need to be out of 5 as well.
Okay.
All right, and you have planning board for January 11th written down here for some
Tomorrow.
reason?
That's tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to new business. Let's review and sign the warrant for the water and sewer bills for the fourth quarter. Those bills just went out, correct?
They just went out, yeah.
Okay,
And as I put in your packet, this is gonna end the year at 96.7% of budget for water, 106.6 for sewer and 97 for trash.
And that's mean collected funds that are all in?
Collected, well, that's what's been billed for the year.
Billed or collected?
Billed.
Okay.
That's
Do we,
what-
do we still have any major delinquencies? So those, and those will be cleared up at the end of the month anyways.
That's right. Yep.
Okay. Great, so that's taken care of. Let's move on to sign permit request for Valley Run Property Services.
So, you know, I don't know whether it's relative to water and sewer. I understand that somebody's bought
Yes,
Tor's property.
Yes, it hasn't closed yet.
hasn't closed, but
Are
they're
are they
in
gonna,
process.
are they reasonably current on all these
That's what I-
bills?
that's
He
what I was
has-
asking
He has
about.
to be.
It would
yeah,
have to be to
he-
transfer.
He will have to
He
transfer.
would have to
Yes.
transfer?
Yes.
Good, all right.
So this is actually a good thing, we'll be completely caught up. That'll leave us with only two private accounts that
Are
are,
those commercial accounts or
no, they're
residential?
residential.
So, good.
Yeah.
So they would be reasonably minor,
Yeah.
one would think.
Yep.
All right, great.
Valley Run Property Management is moving into the old
Oh,
stone
we know
place
that.
Yeah,
too.
They've
that's-
already done that.
They've done that, they've
All right, and
closed,
they have a signed permit here for us to review.
they do.
I don't have a problem with it. Does anyone else looked at it and have an issue?
No, I don't have a problem.
All right, then will someone make a motion to approve the sign for Valley Run Property Services?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're done with that. All right, possible warrant questions, economic development questions. Mark,
Yep, so
lead us
you,
down
on
that
the
path.
second packet that I sent you out, the updated information,
Yeah,
I gave you the wording for each one of those, and town council reviewed all of them, and he is okay with the wording of all of them the way that they are. We, the two economic development warrant articles, we could do those first. The first one is RSA 7281. So before we can establish a tax exemption for new construction in commercial and industrial uses, the town has to adopt the provisions of RSA 7281. And under that law, the town can exempt up to 50% of the increase due to the new construction for a period of up to 10 years. If the town adopts this warrant article, then the selectmen would adopt an enabling regulation that would lay out what
The actual term of
the actual
commitment.
terms and what the evaluation criteria will be that you'll use and, an agreement.
Now, is that on a
form.
case by case or
It
is
is a
that,
case
so it's
by
not a
case.
statute
It
we'd
is
be
not-
setting up?
That's
So
correct.
once we establish that we have once we grant the selectmen the ability to acknowledge and accept an economic development zone, it's up to the selectmen, maybe after public hearing, to determine the scope of the exemption.
That's correct.
Where the selectmen cannot issue an exemption without previously adopting RSA 7281.
That's correct.
Mark, I'm not sure that I completely understood what it was you said about adopting RSA 7281. This just puts us in a position that we can implement these other things, or
Yes.
it actually allows us to implement?
It allows you to implement a new construction property tax exemption for commercial or industrial uses.
And would we need a
or
vote of the
both.
town to do that as well? Or
No,
no?
the selectmen would have the power to
This would
do
give you
that.
the power to be able to do it.
Within these parameters.
Once
Yes.
adopted by the local legislative body, that's town meeting, the percentage rate and duration of the exemption shall be granted uniformly. So,
So we'd have to adopt a set of rules and guidelines?
that's right, so the.
Wait a minute, do we have to create
It's not
rules
like
and
we can-
guidelines, or is it on specific incidents?
They, No, the town will establish the percentage that is granted.
Right.
So we've recommended 50%. They don't have to adopt that.
Okay, define the town, is that town meeting or is
Town
that the
meeting.
Board of
Town
Selectmen?
meeting.
So we could propose, this only gives us the right to take to town meeting the proposed exemption
That's
for, and an abatement of these
That's correct.
taxes. So the selectmen don't have the power
You
to do
don't
this
have-
on their
no.
own.
It's
Okay.
79E that you have the power to set to evaluate each project.
That's not what I'm seeing from
But
79E.
we'd have to still take each project to the next town meeting.
No,
Well,
once this is granted, any new construction,
Right,
either for commercial or industrial use,
right.
would be eligible for this exemption.
Okay, define eligible, do they automatically get it, or?
Yes,
So-
it has
so-
to be uniformly
So what we're
applied.
saying by this thing here, we're saying anybody coming in will be getting a discount on their taxes
If the town.
as determined by town meeting, and it's gonna be a uniform thing, and how long does that stay in place?
Until it's rescinded.
But we don't have a specific instance. I thought this would allow us to negotiate as a town with anybody who wanted to come in and say, oh, you're coming in, this is your budget, you're gonna put 2 million in here, we're gonna do this, we can look at numbers and see what we can afford, as opposed to what I'm hearing now is what this is saying to us is that once we create something, anybody who comes in here will get 50%, if the number is 50%. Anyone who comes in here will get 50% off their taxes for 5 years, or if that's what we
10
decide to.
years.
No, we can
No,
decide
you
what
can
we wanna do.
decide.
No.
You don't have to.
We don't have to
So-
make it 10 years, but when would we make this determination as to do this? Because we don't know who's coming in, when, where, or what. And we don't know the scope of the project or any of this stuff. I thought this allowed us to come in and work with someone who wanted to come in and tailor a plan, a package for them that would work for the town as well as for the developer, as opposed to telling people, hey, come on in, you're not gonna pay taxes for this. It doesn't set a criteria for us where, you know, if we come up and say, this guy's gonna build a $2 million, hotel,
Right.
and some schmo is gonna take this land here and build a $60,000 shed, it's still a commercial piece of land.
Right.
But then we have to grant this guy with a $60,000 shed the 50% abatement that we give the guy who's
For the
building the $2 million.
hotel. Yes.
I don't like that.
So, well, okay, so the control that the selectmen have is that there is an application process.
Yeah,
It is not stipulated in the state law what that exactly looks like, but it says, once adopted by town meeting, the percentage rate and duration of the exemption shall be granted uniformly within the municipality for all projects for which the proper application is filed. So the only control that you have is the application process.
well,
Otherwise, if the town says
no,
that 50% of it's done for 10 years.
if you said what you said again, it would
Yeah.
seem to me that in there, we could, if we wanted to adopt a set of rules that said,
Mhm.
because they have to be uniformly applied, but
That's
we
right.
could say, okay, these are our set of rules, this is what's covered and what's not covered.
Right.
And then what we couldn't do is, say, well, we're gonna give it to you because we like you, and we're not gonna give it to you because you don't like you.
Or you can't
It's
say,
gotta be,
Yeah.
gotta be the kind of thing where it basically specifies the reason why we're
that's right, and
granting something.
if town meeting votes that it's 50% for 10 years, you can't offer someone 75% for 25 years.
No,
You know, so
I-
whatever is granted has to be at the same rate for the same period of time.
I think this is something we absolutely want to explore, but I think we're rushing into this.
I thought it was
I
something
don't think
different.
we know what we're doing.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
well,
can-
And we're gonna need some help from town council as to,
or towns that
you know,
have
can
used- that have
can
adopted
we
this.
define a set of guidelines as to what's covered and not covered?
Yep.
you know, for instance, if somebody adds to a parking lot, you know, in theory, that increase is the.
Commercial or
You
industrial,
know,
right.
it adds to the value of that property. I mean, so he gets a small increase in the value of his property. Is that exempted? Or is it only
Right.
new?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we proposing to do here?
Yeah.
I think we need to get those questions answered before we get,
Okay.
get something like this passed.
Yeah. And the other thing, this does not apply to state education property taxes,
Right.
It's only-
or county taxes.
just our
It's
perc-
only
yeah.
local and local school.
Local
So-
and local school.
Yeah, town
Alright.
and local school. So, you know, it's 100% taxation of, the county and state education tax. So, they can't be exempted from those. The new value,
Right.
so. But I'll get guideline examples.
We're gonna have to,
And
find some towns that have done
application
this, and what do
process.
they
Yeah.
mean, what, you know, and we'll have to take a look at all of that stuff.
Okay, we can do that. But we'll leave it as tentative for right now and see if you're comfortable I mean, we don't have to make this decision today.
Okay.
We've got another month or so before.
All
we
right,
need
but
to-
yeah, I was under a completely different
Yeah.
impression of what this was.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, I'm not surprised that the state would
Mhm.
say, you can't discriminate. You
Right.
gotta, if you're gonna do this, it's gotta be equally applicable to all people, but it would
Right.
seem to me we could set rules
Mhm.
as to what's covered
What's
and
covered
what's
and
not
what's
covered.
Mhm.
And it would be worthwhile, you know, like if
Yeah.
it's a new construction of lodging,
Right,
you know, I don't know if we could get that specific or not, I have no idea,
right,
you know,
we'll find out.
Okay?
okay?
Right.
Okay, so the other one is 79E, which is the Community Revitalization Tax Relief Incentive. And this is public benefit to enhance downtowns and town centers. And it is for revitalization of buildings, existing buildings, or construction of additions to existing buildings. So
And what happens?
Yeah, what does it provide?
it provides that the new value that is added
Right.
from that revitalization or new construction can be exempted for up to 5 years.
And here, again, the same thing, you have to establish rules, or you have to I'm assuming it's gotta be
There's
uniformly
the
applied
same,
rules.
it has to be uniformly applied, and you have to adopt a set of enabling
And is
regulations.
the whole town the zone?
No, only the town, it's only for the town center or downtown.
Well,
So for us, it has to be
The old commercial,
the center of,
the
the town
original
core.
area, the core
but
that
is the
was
ski
developed.
area considered a center?
no, the
of town?
town, the ski area, it has
So
not.
this only benefits the Sununu's?
No, it would,
Where else is
Most-
it?
you could set, mostly, but
Yeah.
you could set the boundaries. In our case, the town core has been historically from Valley Road around to Tecumseh Road. So you could have the center, that be the center of town. It's what our revitalization plan looked at.
Well, I have the same comment, I don't know
Yeah.
if we know enough yet.
Okay,
Yeah, what are the criteria
I mean,
that we have
this,
to set? And the process?
well,
I mean, do we have to designate the zone?
yes, we designate the
Well,
zone.
somehow we have to, when we bring this up to a town vote, all that's gotta be specified.
Okay, and this discount is only based on an increased tax value.
Right.
It's not that they're going to get it, say, they're not gonna be able to come and go, we spent $200,000 improving our parking lot,
Right,
or fixing our parking lot.
Right.
They can't go, we want $200,000 worth of half of the 200,000.
Right.
It would have to be reassessed
Right,
and
their
any
assessed
increase-
valuation
That's
gets
correct.
frozen,
Well,
even if they made an improvement.
No, the assessed valuation would go up, but only 50% or whatever percent we say would be taxable.
Oh, I don't know whether it,
Well, that's
I
what
was
I'm
under the
hearing.
impression it got frozen.
Bill's right, it gets frozen and the new value is not taxed for that 5-year
Well,
period.
what this says, it's taxed 50%.
No, that's the first one.
That's
We're
Yeah,
on the second
I
one.
understand, but why is,
No, this is totally separate.
Okay.
This is a
all right, I
totally
was going back to
separate
the
law.
wrong one.
Yeah, no, this is a totally separate law. And that's why this is more for downtown revitalization,
Right,
is what they're, so like the Mill Yard in Manchester. or
right, and a
something
good
like-
example would be if somebody tore down the conference center and built
That's right.
a brand-new conference center,
Mhm.
you know.
The assessment would be what
I
the
don't know
old
why
one
I'm
was.
dreaming this,
Yeah.
but,
The assessment would be what the
anyway.
old one was.
Exactly,
For how
Well-
many years we say it.
right,
would be.
5 years.
And it's
Right.
not so much, they're not, I don't think, when you read the statute, I don't think the intention is to tear down the existing conference center. I think it is to revamp the existing conference center.
Right.
Or add on to it.
Right,
And then,
Okay,
and then
that's reasonable.
freeze
They add a
the,
wedding chapel
that's right,
in the
add
back
it,
or
that's right,
something
or
like
whatever,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so but the valuation would be frozen at
right.
the,
So would the,
Current
well,
level.
Tom here, would the athletic club apply to that core?
you certainly can,
If he wanted to build an
It
outdoor
depends on
pavilion
how
on that?
we choose
depends
what
on
is
how
the
you.
town core.
That's right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been historically at or near the town core. It's
Yeah.
been what we've been looking at.
all right, well, I think we would have to expand the core to cover all the
It
commercial
is, it's
spaces.
conceptually the right idea.
Yeah.
There's no disagreement there. It's the
Okay.
problem is just understanding what it
Yeah.
is that we're enacting.
Yeah.
You know, to ask people to vote for this without being
Yeah.
able to tell them exactly what it is they're voting on, I mean, it's gonna be pretty,
So we're
Hard.
looking on 79E for the zone, the definition of the zone. And then the same thing, process.
But can the
and
zone be
guidelines.
all of our commercial land in town, even though?
Mm,
Well, no,
The statute
I'm
says-
just saying, it's not fair, I'm looking with Tom here, it's not fair to the athletic club, it's not fair to maybe the golf club building, it's not fair to someone who wants to come in, you know,
Well, the 79E was adopted with specific
yeah,
downtown
but we're,
and town
but
center.
we're a different, we're not
And I
this,
asked town council that, and he said it has to be the downtown or town
but
center.
in any other place, walking from town square to the athletic club is a
I know,
downtown.
Mike, I'm just.
Walking
I-
to my house is downtown, you know,
I
it's where,
understand that. But it
walking
can't
to
be
this
the
building
whole-
is down,
It can't be the whole town, is what.
but
town
I'm talking
council
about the
said.
commercial zone. Oh,
Well,
it
of the
would
town.
have to be the commercial zone center, I think,
Yes.
you know, pretty much. I mean, but,
I
you know,
think we
we'd have
could
some,
probably.
you know, it's either C or
expand it.
C1 land, I mean, in that
Right, the
adjacent
VC
area.
and
Yeah.
C1 land, I think that's an easy argument to make.
Yeah.
That's the town core. But specifically asking about the ski area.
no, I just want to clarify for my own.
But if we adopted the first one,
Mhm.
why do we
Now, if
need
we
the
did-
second one?
I guess we don't necessarily.
What is, regarding new construction, I don't know what, the difference is one involves rehabbing a property as opposed to constructing something new?
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, if that's the difference, then we would need both.
Right, well,
Yeah.
I'll ask him if it's redundant or if
Yeah. Okay,
if the new construction in 72 is covered, or in 79 is covered by the adoption
and
of the other.
it's a minor point, but if you're talking to town council, the use of the word both commercial and industrial uses,
Yeah.
we allow some commercial uses on single-family home sites, two-family home sites.
Okay,
Would they be eligible?
I don't know, but that goes back to the process. and the
Yeah, right.
guidelines.
You know, I'm
And
not
the
sure that would be
definition
our
of
intent,
what gets
that
covered.
the home business would qualify.
I'll just ask him for
Right,
example guidelines
yeah, okay.
and how other towns
Yeah.
have done it,
All right,
okay?
Keno,
So Keno was requested by the New Hampshire Lottery. We
Oh,
got a- we
they
received a letter.
they have specifically requested that each town put it on their ballot?
It's in your packet, there's
Okay.
at the end of the packet, there's a letter from the,
Yeah.
lottery
Okay,
system and asking that towns consider putting it on because they have rewritten the
but have we
law.
had anybody in town that's requested?
No,
Keno?
no one's requested it. The request came from the lottery system.
yeah.
Okay,
I don't know about those Marjan ladies, you could shift them over. Yes, Tom?
Do you have to put it on the warrant?
Yes, cannot do it without the without town meeting approval.
do we have to put,
No,
his question
no.
is, do we have to put it on the
No,
warrant?
you don't, no, this
Okay.
was a request to put it on, just.
But it's not a requirement.
Right.
No, it's
But
not
we
a
can,
requirement.
we could
Okay.
say, this is nuts, we have, nobody's
Yeah,
interested, why are we
I would
wasting
say
our
let's
time?
take it off the warrant. Because
It's not
I,
on the warrant,
No.
I'm just asking you.
no, I would say we don't need a warrant article for this because no one has mentioned it.
Yeah, I'd get to the point where somebody wants to do it. Because if somebody wants to do it, then, you know, maybe they would come in with a proposal or something of what they wanna do.
And then we could ask a warrant article.
You
for
know,
that.
and then, I mean, this isn't a one-year thing, we can do this next year, right?
Right.
Sure.
We could have someone build a Keno parlor in downtown and it would be free.
We could combine this with the Historical Society.
Okay, so I will.
Keno and/or Historical Society.
Okay.
Actually, that's how we can support the Historical Society.
Okay, so we won't put that on there,
No.
that's easy, no problem.
It's just because no one's asked. No.
Well, no, no,
This-
Mike, they changed the law.
Oh, no, I understand what
And
you're saying.
the lottery system asked every town to consider putting it on their warrant.
Right, and
So
we've considered
we
it,
will-
we've said no.
There you go, okay, well, that's what I will let Mr. McIntyre know.
And if he has a problem, he can call me. It's just, gotta protect our youth.
That's right. Don't
Skipping
want them
school and hanging
gambling.
out in the,
In the
smoking
Keno.
cigars by the dumpster.
Oh my gosh.
All right, bond issues, let's talk about this.
All right, so the first
Tom and
one-
Wendy, have you got a copy of this?
Of the agenda?
No, the bond issue, the language for it?
No.
It's, when I read it, Mark, it
Yeah.
strikes me as very, very broad.
Hmm.
I mean, it says, give us $300,000 for capital improvements to town, land and facilities.
Mhm.
Damn near, that's damn near anything.
Well, yeah, and but it's
I mean,
the
we could
only-
use that to buy dumpsters.
Yes, that is the only way, however, to do what Mike had said at the last meeting, which was, what would it look like to give you, the Board of Selectmen, the flexibility?
The
So,
latitude,
the
yeah.
latitude, and you're absolutely right, it
It's
is
incredibly
vague,
vague.
but it's the only way that you have that sort of latitude to be able to do it, and I did check with town council, and the language will pass muster as far as a legal bond authorization. Usually, like you said, we do bond authorizations for very specific projects.
Right.
But we won't have an authorization and the flexibility during the year for somebody who comes in to do a project, right? And says, I need to have, you know, this particular thing done with a trail or with a water line extension or whatever. We would have to wait until the next town meeting to get authorization to do that. This project would give us $300,000 to be able to,
And, right,
react
I
to those
understand
sorts
that,
of
and
things.
who would decide which projects qualify
the
and which
Board of
don't?
Selectmen.
I'm not sure I'm thrilled with that authority.
No, I'm just.
And if we're gonna ask for that, why don't we ask for $1 million?
Well, there's no saying that.
I mean, you know, and we'll decide what needs to be fixed.
It was just a thought.
I hear you. I'm struggling with it.
Well, this was in reaction to putting in a $300,000 warrant article for the town entrance. Because we have a project for that.
Right.
We have a budget estimate for that, and it's $300,000. So, but Mike's point was, what if we don't wanna do the entrance because somebody else comes in and asks the town to do something?
I would be in favor
other-
of letting people vote on whether they want the town entrance and the sidewalks and the stuff as proposed.
Mhm.
If they turn that down,
Yeah,
maybe we'd ask them for, well, how about $500,000 open-ended?
okay. Next
And
year.
we'll decide on the projects.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like that project, we'll come up
And
with
I-
some other stuff.
But we would do that in 19.
No,
But it would be a supplemental if the first one
well,
doesn't.
why
go.
can't we,
No, you
why can't
can't.
we put them both on, and if the one passes, we
Yeah,
don't,
the other one
we
doesn't.
just roll over on the second one.
We've done that before.
We've done that before.
Not with bond articles. Not with bond articles. We've done it with a simple majority vote, but bond articles are very specific.
Okay.
You have to hold a public hearing for them, you have to, they take
Right.
2/3 votes, they're only by ballot votes, so
Yes, I
I'd
got
be
you.
very careful.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No,
Yeah, the town core committee has met many, many times. And we went through we prioritized a lot of projects that we
Right.
thought would be important
Yeah,
for the betterment of Waterville. And we decided that the entrance was number one. Having the sign, we had a walkway on both sides. One, we have to get dig safe in and figure that whole thing out. But I think we've zeroed in on something that is very important, that's gonna make a visual impact immediately. We've never had an entrance. And so we've kind of zeroed in on that as our top priority. And, you know, we feel that should be expressed to the voters.
okay, so let's
And
amend, let's take this.
Wendy has.
Yeah,
No,
if we're thinking of a couple different options, we could also present the two different budgets that were submitted for the entranceway. You know, the sign and sidewalk on one side, or a sign and sidewalk on both sides. They're significantly different in cost.
Are you prepared to make that presentation at town meeting?
This, okay.
Not yet. I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm just walking down the road here
Sure.
further. Because-
I think haven't we, Mark, kind of run into a wall where we have to have some money available so that we can go to the
Right.
next step and
I-
have
I've got you.
designs
What I'm hearing from Mark and what I'm hearing from Bill, and I think this right, is I think what we should probably do is take this bond issue thing right here and limit this bond issue to the
What you're
walkway
proposing.
plan. The entrance and the walkway plan, which is a simple thing, have a diagram at town meeting to show what we wanna do, we want $300,000 for it, see if the voters will approve it or not. And if they don't approve it, we'll go back to the drawing board and see what else we can do.
But remember,
Right.
you can't amend the amount at town meeting, and it's a ballot vote 2/3, and I would, again, not put two different bond authority articles.
No, Mark, I'm going with one.
No, yeah, but
right.
Yeah.
Wendy
Oh,
just
no, I-
asked about having, because there is a significant difference in the cost estimate for the different options, right? So, but I guess what we need to do is decide which option you wanna go with
Right.
and which
Yeah.
number you wanna put in, and then go.
You
with
can always spend less.
You can always
Right.
spend less, so
Right.
go with the
What you can't do
300.
is spend more.
That's
Right.
right,
Right.
exactly.
Like,
So-
we could take the 300, do the one-sided version
the
and use the
one-sided
rest on
version.
trail signs,
No.
which is our next
No,
priority.
you
you
couldn't
can't.
use it on
No,
that.
you
couldn't.
That's the
But-
problem.
But the thing would
We'd
be,
have to
though-
return the money.
Well, no, you don't have to return it, you just don't bond it, and the bond
Right.
authorization
Well,
dies.
and next year, we basically, say, we never spent
We
the
never
money, you
spent
get
the
it back.
money, we only
Right.
bonded 150 instead of
Right.
300,000.
Or you get a really good
And-
sidewalk.
No, we got.
I am of the opinion that we ought to go forward with, look, we got a town core working
Yeah.
group.
Yep.
Their recommendation is this. It's gonna take this amount of money, let them, and I support that project, all right?
Okay,
I am also of the mind to say, and we're gonna come back next year, because to really fix this town,
Right.
we're probably looking at a minimum of $1 million over X number of years. Maybe we want to authorize some group to start, to give them in 19 some just broad discretion of projects that they might want
Well,
to
you've
choose
already
to
got
That's
go
what the
into
core
CIP.
group is.
no,
Right.
well, no,
Yeah.
you've already got that in the CIP though, Bill, we've got $1 million.
We've added money in the CIP.
We've
Oh,
got $1
yeah,
million
no,
in
but
the
actually
CIP.
write a warrant article that allows somebody to build a bathing pavilion or build a bathroom or whatever they want to do and some other stuff.
But that's the plan though, we will do that
Yeah, okay.
in the years
Right, well,
that are
then
in
we're
the
saying the same
CIP.
thing.
Yeah, I think if that's
And we're in
what's
violent agreement.
No, no,
Yeah.
that is exactly
Alright.
what we
I
got.
think in general, the people in town wanna know exactly what the money
Yeah,
is gonna
what's
be used
going
for.
on.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna go for,
Yeah.
use
No, no, I-
your
The open-ended.
discretion, I
Right.
think they
Yeah.
wanna know.
We're,
I mean, they
we're really
turned down
good,
a-
just trust us.
They,
No,
they,
no, I
they
just-
turned down a speed sign, you remember that?
Oh, yeah,
They turned
right,
down a
yeah.
speed sign. 'cause
Well, that's
they
because
didn't
the other
like
one
it.
worked
Yeah,
so well.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, so we know where we stand with this, correct? The core group will come back with just specific language to decide whether you're gonna go for the one sidewalk or two sidewalk. We'll create the
no,
warrant.
no, we're gonna go,
We're gonna
just-
go, okay, the two
The
sidewalk,
purpose is going to be
For
for
the
the
two
town
sidewalk- okay.
entrance and sidewalk improvements
good,
Right,
and road improvements, like we originally had.
yeah.
Okay,
all right,
so, yeah, so that one is,
all right, $400,000 for Corcoran's Pond.
yep, 400,000
And
for
we have
Corcoran's
how
Pond.
much in our reserve?
We have 100 and, tell you exactly,
But
110,000.
can we put that figure into the warrant to let people know that it's gonna cost 500 and we've got four?
You know what, actually, Mike, that's great, thank you for saying that, because that's exactly what we're gonna do, we're gonna put 500 and.
I thought we agreed we would put a little more than 500
Yeah, well-
in, because you
well,
wanted to make
whatever,
some other
yes.
improvements. There
Yeah,
were a
but-
few other improvements
Yeah.
you wanted to make?
Yes, so we're gonna put a total number for the
Right.
entire project.
Right, and
Okay.
bonding, and
And
say
then
that
the
we have.
400,000 will be the bonding portion.
And there's a statement in there that says, as required by state dam regulations.
Yeah,
Do we have to say that?
nope, we do not.
I don't know if that helps or hurts. People hate to do things because the state government told them they have to do it.
What if we took out regulations and put the State Dam Bureau, because they are telling us to
No.
do it?
Well, but they're not really they're the mechanism, they're not the reason.
Then New Hampshire DES, or somebody is requiring us to do this, and I think people need to know
Yeah.
we're
Well,
required.
it isn't,
That this is
no,
some-
it isn't the people in the DES, it is
It's
the
a minor
regulations.
point.
It's-
I'm willing
do
to go
you-
either way.
if
If
you-
you're comfortable
if
with
you
it, I'll
want
leave it
me-
in.
Yeah, I mean, I can put a period after dam, and we don't
No,
have to say as required.
No, I
if
think
you
the
don't want to.
other selectmen are comfortable with it. That's fine with
Yeah.
me then.
All right, then let's move on to the
Well,
400,000.
Wait, okay, but, Margaret, were you still looking at it, or? are you-
No, I think we ought to, I agree with Mike, that people ought to know that, we are under the gun
Mhm.
on this to do it.
Okay,
It's-
Just so you're aware, I think what I'm going to do as a private citizen is
Mhm.
I'm gonna write a letter, an article into the wigwag,
okay,
arguing that, look, this is gonna be hard to understand, but given the options, this
Yeah,
is
we have-
worth supporting, because it would cost more than this to tear the dam down.
sure.
Which they could very well in the end
Yeah.
order,
Yeah,
right?
that we have spent a couple of years saving the town $1 million.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, it's more
And
than a
it's
couple
cheaper than
too.
$1 million bucks,
Yeah.
right? We
No, 'cause
finally
they
got
wanted
it down
$1.5
to a
million.
reasonable number.
Yes, Tom?
Yeah, is it possible to with this dam project, appropriate some money to, put that bridge back in?
Yes.
No,
Which bridge? You mean the lower bridge?
The lower, so that connects the Snowy and
Yeah, it's
the
200,000 to
Conference
put
Center.
that bridge back in.
That's, the problem is we can't come up with a reasonable number for
Yeah,
that bridge.
it's, the new requirements to put that bridge in requires a $200,000 bridge approximately.
Kidding
I
me?
am
No.
not kidding you.
No, that's
Tom-
the
That's
problem.
why we have stones
That's-
in the Mad River
Yeah,
instead of
Tom,
a
we have been
bridge.
dealing with this stuff for years. You know, we immediately wanted that bridge put back in.
the problem with that bridge is during a flood, that bridge blocks the culvert at Snows Brook
Yeah.
and causes more of a backup. And so because it does that, you have to build it basically flood-proof. So you're gonna have a Golden Gate Bridge
Yeah,
going
it's
across.
absurd.
It's very absurd,
Wow.
yeah.
Someone
But we
put
are
up a
gonna
rope
make
bridge in the middle
some
of the night, we
improvements
wouldn't.
to the existing bridge that goes across
Yes,
the top
yes.
of the dam.
Yes, we
New
are,
lights or something, we're
That's
gonna make it
right.
look a
That's
little
right.
nicer.
exactly.
Okay. Are we ready to move to the well?
Yes. So
Now, where is this $400,000 number coming from?
Well-
We pulled it out of the air.
we pulled it out of the
Okay,
air.
just wanted to make sure I wasn't
So
sleeping
We have
through it.
no
So
idea what it's
remember-
gonna cost.
No,
to
I
fix
just
all
wanted to
of
make
it.
sure I didn't miss anything.
Oh.
And
So Jim has
you
a
know,
presentation for you. We talked with Jamie Emery and Joe Ducharme today. So the original project for the 400,000 was 300 to 325,000 for the well number 3 new transmission line.
And connect.
Not that
And
the
then-
well discussion
And then
isn't.
connecting it to,
we don't need you for the well discussion.
Yeah, next time you want to
Oh,
fill,
well.
next time you want to fill the pool, remember who to call.
No, we trust, we put the well in your file.
yeah, right, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
So, that budget broke down to doing two things, connecting well 3 to the new treatment building and connecting well 2 at the same time. So 300 to 325,000 was the estimate to run a new distribution line from well 3's site under, the road and across the road to the new building. And at the same time, we have the ground opened up to connect well building 2 with the new treatment building. So that all 3 wells came in there and were treated. If you remember, when Jamie came the last time at our workshop meeting, he talked about taking some steps to fix well 3 before we connect it to the new distribution building. And that was to get rid of the monitoring wells, do some more sample on the monitoring wells for bacteria and drinking water parameters, modify the trench with the bentonite plugs, install the liner over the wellhead area, and install a fence around the well 3 site, okay? Those 5 things, he's estimated to be the same cost range as connecting well 2 to the new well building.
Right.
Okay? In addition to that, if you remember, he talked about reconstructing well 3 and
Right.
doing a new permit. That would be somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000 to do that work. Okay?
To replace it with a gravel pack well.
To replace it with a gravel pack well which meets today's standards and to get it permitted for future use. So if we want to be able to move forward, the total project cost for everything, including getting well 3
into,
up to speed is the $700,000, okay? Now, there is a way, because the state, if you look on the second page, the back page, the state of New Hampshire in 2016 formed the Drinking Water and Groundwater Advisory Commission, and there is a trust fund that is part of the MTBE settlement. That's somewhere around $280 million that this commission has been tasked with using that money to improve drinking water and groundwater in the state of New Hampshire. Last year was the first year that they did anything. They distributed about $35 million in projects around the state. And there is an application process each year now for projects just like what we're talking about doing.
Right.
So what Jamie is recommending is that we change the warrant article to $700,000, but we don't change the bonding appropriation. We leave the bonding appropriation at $400,000, and that we get the other $300,000 through a grant application to this trust fund.
what if we don't
Now-
get it?
Well, if we don't get it, then we go back to DES and say, we've got $400,000. We've got a plan to connect well 3 to the new treatment building. We've got 4 log removal at the new treatment building. Let us connect well 3 with only these 5 improvements.
But didn't you say if there's E. coli in that well,
No,
they won't
right,
let us
we've got it,
improve
we
it?
do have to get the E. coli gone, but remember
Right.
the total coliform is, if we can get it down through these 5 steps, then we can potentially get it permitted if there's just total coliform there.
So
And we-
these 5 steps are between $75,000 and $100,000.
That's right,
Okay.
and so instead of, if we don't get the grant, instead of connecting well 2,
We do this for
we'll do
100,
those 5 steps.
and that will get us in for $400,000, the 100
That's
plus the
correct.
300 or
That's
so
correct,
connection line.
that's correct. And then if we get the 300,000, we rebuild the wells so it meets the new standards. If we can, and then we still connect well 3 to the new treatment building, so DES will be happy about that. And if we have enough money while we have the ground opened up, we can connect well 2 while we're there. If we don't, we can do it later.
What
Because
happens,
well 2
what
is
happens if we
operating.
don't get the E. coli out of well 3?
We're gonna have to go back and rebuild well 3.
Oh, no, I understand that. What does
Yeah.
that cost if we have to rebuild well 3 from scratch? Is that
$300,000, $250,000 to $300,000. That's why, basically, we fund the reconstruction of well 3 through the grant program, which is exactly what
the grant
the
program
grant
is for?
program is designed for.
Right.
It's to improve water quality.
Um,
So we're gonna have a pretty strong application. We may not get it, and if we don't get it, we still have a way to negotiate with DES
Well,
to get well 3 back
If,
online.
am I reading this correctly, last year they approved 35,000 in projects.
35
million.
million. 35 million.
35 million in
Yes.
projects around the state.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, my question to you though is, do we wanna put a $700,000 project up there? Because alternatively, we could leave the warrant article the way it is with the 400,000. We can do 100,000 in improvements at well 3 right now, right, Jim? And then that'll take us a good part of this next summer anyway. We would then have 300,000 remaining in our authorization. We could get the design work done and everything for the line to connect well 3 to the new treatment building. We could do an application. We'll find out by the end of 2018 if we're successful, and then we could go back in 19 and we could ask for authority to spend that, grant money that we've been awarded at the end of this year. So we could break it up into 2 projects, in other words.
The other thing we could do, though, is do the 5 improvements to well number 3 that are listed here,
Yeah,
and see if that improves the water quality enough that we don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
okay.
Now, we're assuming, I know that DES would love us to connect to the new well, and I know that you would love to connect everything to the new well
The
building.
Connecting
But-
to the, mhm.
But I'm not sure that in the scheme of things, it's not, my question is it really necessary? Or is it just, it's new plumbing,
It's not new plumbing, Bill, it's new treatment to make sure that we get rid
no,
of.
yeah, but
We
the
get the
problem,
log for removal.
well,
That's
except
what we're
we've
going
gone
for.
through this, it's if we can't get the E. coli out, so the first
Right.
thing I do is make these 5 steps and see if we can get rid of the E. coli.
Okay.
If we can then get rid of the E. coli and we still have a little bit of other total coliform count or something
They're
there.
not gonna let us put it on the way we are right now. They will not let us put it on.
I
With
would,
3
I wanna hear DES say that.
They've said it, we have it, we've had letters, they've issued letters.
Well,
with the
how do
3
we
vol-
know that we don't do these 5 things and the total coliform will fall down to 0?
Well, we don't know.
Well, we would
Right.
hope for 100,000 that these 5 things fix it. No, that's just my first thought.
Okay, it is the same thing as the town entrance. If we ask for the 400,000, we don't have to
Oh,
spend.
no, I got you.
No,
I-
no,
I-
no,
I
no,
didn't- I
no.
didn't say-
But-
I didn't say
Yeah,
we
but
had to
I
ask for
don't
it.
wanna authorize 400,000 and then you go ahead and build the connection over to the new well, to the treatment facility, and the damn well still doesn't work.
Well, no, we can't build that
That's the
connection.
point,
No,
so
we
I don't
can't
problem
build
with the authorization, I have the problem with committing money to get this stuff done.
No, but that's what I'm saying, though.
Well,
is you do
you're
the-
so anxious for this connection that my fear is that you'll go ahead and get the engineers designing it and working on it.
No, I think you're misreading what I'm saying. We're going to do the $100,000 in improvements.
And I don't wanna do anything else until that's
we don't-
done
We don't have to.
and we know what's the story.
We don't have, we can't do anything else
Until-
we
Right.
do the 100,000. We can't. They won't let us connect. If we went and built that line right now, they won't let us connect to
Right.
the new well building.
I know, because
Until
we
we
still
can-
we can get the E. coli out.
That's right, exactly. So there's no reason to do that part of the project.
Well, I don't have a problem with asking for the money, but my guess is that we're gonna find
So.
that
no,
if the 5 improvements here fix the E. coli problem, they're gonna fix the whole problem. If they don't, we're then stuck with having to pay for having the whole well
Which is.
recast.
That's right, which is right, it's exactly what I've written here. So 2018, we get the warrant article approved and we do the $100,000 in improvements. That's what we do in 2018. We get the E. coli hopefully cleared up. If we get total coliform cleared up, as a result,
Right.
we could be done. And
Right,
we
we
could
could
continue.
be, well, then we'll treat
Then-
the new transmission will stand
And
on
that's
its
why-
own.
And that's why I put 2019,
Right.
300,000 used for connection of the well to the new pump house, and then 19 or 20. And the 300,000, the reconstruction of the well, both of them, connection to the new treatment building and or the reconstruction of the new well, is only as required. I mean,
Well, I
both
think-
of those are optional things.
I think we ought to just ask for the 100,000 for 2018. We can tell people that there are other things that we may need to do once we have the
Right,
results
there's,
of
you got a
that,
lot,
but it's,
right, otherwise we're tempted, we got the money sitting there and we're
Right.
tempted to start spending it.
well, it's not sitting there because it's bonded, and you just
Well,
haven't
you
bonded
only
it,
bonded
but
as you need it,
still.
but still,
But
if we
still,
don't have authorization, we
If I
don't
was a
have.
citizen, I think and I am a citizen, but
Yeah.
I think most people, again, would want to know what the result was from the 100,000.
Right,
Cause if all that works, then we bought some time in
Right.
terms of having to
Are we
spend
out of compliance with
600,000.
DES as we sit today, Mark?
Well 3.
No, I
is-
mean, as far as the amount of water we have to produce for the town versus to provide, to keep our permits. Because I think this was an issue we talked
Yes,
about before with
we-
bringing.
We are, if a well goes down, we do not meet the
Okay, but
regulations.
as of today, we
As
are
of
in
today.
compliance.
Right now, as of today, with both of the wells working, we're in compliance.
Okay, so just walk with me down this scenario
Yes.
for, say one of our wells goes out tomorrow.
Yes,
And say we can't do anything till the ground thaws and we can't get into well 3 until, say, maybe May.
Mhm.
And in well 3, they start digging up and they start the $100,000 project there.
yes,
And it takes them a while to dig it up, and we don't know really till September that that well is still bad.
Mhm.
And then we're coming to September, and we can't find contractors, or we can't bid, and everything else to have either the new well dug. meaning
well,
the
we
new-
don't have any money for it if we.
No,
if
Mark,
we
just keep on, just
Yep.
bear with me, because
Okay.
I'm getting to the money part.
Yep,
Would we have time if we ran through this stuff to get a new well dug with all the bidding process, engineering, and all this other stuff
in
in
18,
18?
no,
So realistically, we couldn't get a new well dug if we find the well is bad till 19, spring of 19.
at the earliest.
Yeah, at the earliest.
Mhm.
So if we can't get the new well dug and we can't connect the new one, the old well, if it comes in well, to 2019, right? Meaning that we're not gonna be able to do anything except this $100,000 thing to see if it works or not this year, in 18.
is
That's
that true?
correct.
Or if we made a decision now, don't try to fix the damn thing, just drill a new gravel packed well number 3.
Oh, then we could probably do that.
Could we do
in
that
18.
next year?
Yeah, if you told us right
18
now.
or 19 to find
No,
next year.
18,
In
Okay, this year.
18, if you told us right now that that's the direction you wanted to
go.
we could start designing right
Because,
now.
I mean, this is, the improvements at well number 3 are a roll of the dice.
They are.
We have no idea if they're gonna
That's
work.
right.
But is digging a new well gonna work?
I don't know.
See, I don't know enough
that's
about
not
this.
gonna work either.
Because didn't it take us a while to find a site for 4?
Well, no.
Oh, no, they're gonna drill,
No,
they're
no,
gonna
no,
put
they're
it
gonna put it
exactly
in
where the
exactly
existing
where
well is.
3
But my problem is, if the area is screwed up, why should,
Well, it's a whole different type of well. It has a whole different.
I
makeup.
understand what you're saying, but, yeah, it's confusing. Do we waste 100 trying to figure out if we can get this one to work, or do we go 300 to have them do a new one?
But there's some risk that the 300,000 of the new one won't work either.
Yeah, is there any kind of warranty, like,
No, you don't get a
no,
warranty.
I'm just,
No.
no, I don't know that, I've
It's-
never been in the well business
I
before.
mean,
I
don't
think Margaret's
Jamie-
right.
Yeah.
Ask for $100,000, get that
Because we
stuff
can't do
done.
anything till 19 anyways.
And as long as, the odds are that the well, of the 2 existing producing wells, the one we're gonna lose next would be 2, not, let's hope, not the new one in the Forest Service. I mean, because that's way away from the existing problem. I mean, we're no worse off than we were before, before we had the problems with well 3 and well 4 wasn't online.
Right.
We're basically servicing the whole town with one well anyway. I
No,
mean, and we didn't like it.
No, we violated our permit, and we were
Right.
not going to be allowed, if well 4 had not been
turned
It
as
on.
close to completion as it was, DES would have made us take different action.
What could they have done
Well,
that we
they-
haven't done?
Well, I don't know, but they would have made us
What? Dig a new well or make
fix
these 5
whatever we have to
fixes?
do, fix, truck in water, whatever. We were violating our permit when we were operating one well.
Right.
I mean, that's,
Anything about gallons per well.
I just, I am fine with doing 100,000. The question is, do you wanna just do that through the tax rate, or do you wanna do it through a bond issue? Because that's the minimum for the bond issue.
I'd feel more comfortable personally asking for a whole bunch of money when we finally figured out what it is that's going on here and we're good at it. If we need another 100 grand, you know, let's use that and
Let me ask you a
we'll
question.
keep the ball
Can
rolling.
you two-tier a warrant article? Meaning, not one or two warrant articles. Could you say that we would like to appropriate $400,000, $100,000 to be spent on repair and regeneration attempts at well number 3, with an additional $300,000 to be released for one of two options at the Board of Selectmen's designation? Or, I'm just trying to figure a way.
Yeah,
Well,
because
this-
if it does work, we use the 300,000 to connect up to building 2. If it doesn't work, we use the 300,000 to build a new well.
No, I've got that,
Right.
but what would make Bill comfortable, and I think, is that we would have a pause after we've spent the $100,000 to be able to go.
No, you're the one. Your timeline convinced me
Yeah.
that if we
We're gonna have
opt
a
to
natural
spend the
pause
100,000, yeah, we're not
We're not going to need the 300,000 in 18.
Right, we couldn't get it done in 18 anyway. Unless we commit ourselves right off the bang
To
of
do-
getting the
to-
stuff done,
Right.
you know?
But we don't know if we're going to get it done if they can dig a new well that's going to work. You know,
Well,
No.
why don't we ask Emery and Garrett that? What, I mean,
can
he
they
sat
guarantee?
here, he's the one who gave us that option. He said it. We didn't ask him if he could do it. He volunteered.
No, I'm just saying, can he dig a well that's going to work? What if he digs another well in that same
Well,
spot?
I don't think he would have said it if he doesn't have some idea that it's gonna work. I don't think he would have mentioned it.
You said that was a viable spot, I remember that.
So, I mean, I'm
Test
just,
sites.
But he couldn't dig it in 19 anyways. 18 unless we committed today to $300,000 for a new well.
If they came back and said, look, you convert this to a gravity, you know, whatever it
gravel
is,
pack.
gravel packed well,
Mhm.
absolutely, you will have no problems.
Okay,
You'll get rid of the E. coli, you'll get rid of your total coliform count, you'll be in Fat City. I mean, now, you know, if he came in, then I'm wondering why we're spending 100,000 on
Well,
these little
that's-
And he didn't say- I don't
improvements to
remember him
well
saying that.
five.
well,
I
Mike,
don't know if
yeah.
if they're that sure that going to a gravel pack well will absolutely fix all the issues.
Yeah, I didn't hear that from
I'm
what he said.
wondering
I might
whether
have
we ought to
spaced out on
just
that,
jump
but I-
there.
And I don't think Bill heard that as an option either. Did you hear that as an
Well, I
option?
heard it as an option,
he-
but I kind of heard it as I'd do these other things first, and if that didn't work, then we'll you know, when we asked, well, what's the next option? They said, well, you'd have to completely restructure the well to a gravel pack well. But I didn't hear it was a slam dunk, and if that's the case, then I'm wondering why we're not asking for 300,000, just do the gravel pack well. Why are we screwing around with this?
Yeah, I didn't see that as an option either.
But if it is an option, you know, that they're convinced that that'll fix the problem, let's go fix the problem. Because these other things they're talking about doing, I'm not, you know, I'm not a well expert, but I'm dubious that these are gonna make that big of an
It's like,
impact.
it's like rebuilding an old diesel
They
generator.
don't know why.
And adding it to your power source as opposed to getting a new engine.
They don't know why in the hydrology out there something changed, and they're casting around for, I don't know, have we helped you? No, we haven't.
Well, no, I'll put whatever you want on this warrant article.
Well, let's get an email back from them saying that, hey, you know, if you put a new well in there, we are this percentage certain that this will give you good water and put you in compliance. I think that's what Bill's asking, and I think that makes a lot of sense.
Then I'm wondering whether we just go to that number.
Because instead of
And literally just do it.
risking a
Tell the town, look, we've screwed around with this long enough. Here, the recommendation is dig a new well, and boom. It doesn't look like we're gonna be able to fix the old one.
Okay,
yeah,
I mean, we started this year with the thought of fixing the old one, and then we've given up.
yeah, it's a 30% bet. You know, if it was a 10% bet, if it was like 20 grand to check out and fix this, you know, go ahead. But you're it's a 30% bet on this.
Right.
30%.
Well,
Meaning it's 100,000 to see if you can
100,000
fix it, or
versus
about
300.
300 to have something brand new. It's like putting money into an old car.
Well, I understand.
Yeah.
We would have never brought you the 100,000. We thought that,
I just never really heard them saying for $300,000 we could put in a new well
Yeah,
and we'd be all
I'd
set.
like to know their opinion of what a new well in that same area, how likely it is that we're gonna have good water out of it.
Yeah.
okay, we can, but so timing, in order to, get these warrant articles
Right.
need to be done
Gotcha.
By when?
before the end of next week, because we have to
So,
get them in the papers.
if you could get a phone call in the next day or so,
Yeah.
get an opinion.
And get an email to us.
You know, I'd be in favor, if they came back and said, we are very, very confident about the gravel pack well fixing your problem. You know, it's certainly more comfortable than these list of 5 things.
Okay,
That I'd be in favor of going for the 300 grand.
So would I.
I can do that.
All right.
Do you have a warrant article for the music festival too?
I did not, because I was only looking at the economic development
Okay,
and bonding.
okay.
Those are
Good.
the only ones we need to have, because you have to have public hearings on
Right.
all of these.
Right,
So that's why
okay,
you don't necessarily have to have one on.
right, on the music thing,
So
I
we have
understand.
until February 7th
Okay.
to get the wording of that.
Okay.
All right.
Now that Chris has joined us, Chris, you want to tell us what's going on with public safety?
Picked up the last few days, have been busy, as you see. Other than that, got through the holidays all right. Looking forward to,
No frostbite, huh?
no frostbite.
Yeah.
Looking forward to February vacation. Interesting thing came out, I gave a, certificate of occupancy to your neighbors up there, Bill, on River Road.
Yeah.
And this is the first time since I've been here that we haven't had a building under construction, a home under construction.
Really?
There's no.
That's
no
not good
homes
news.
15
Actively under construction
Wow.
right now,
That's right.
so
15 years.
I thought that was kind of interesting. I told Mark, and Mark said, that's very significant. And the more I
It
thought
is.
about it,
Yeah.
yes, it is pretty significant.
Great.
So, yeah, so other than that, everybody's healthy. Engine 2 is back. I think I told you that last
Yeah.
time.
What did that cost us?
It ended up being what, 22, 23?
1,000 or 100?
23,000.
Okay.
Fire trucks ain't cheap.
Yeah.
No, they are not.
Although I do notice in Plymouth on Route 25, I've driven
There's
by
a
a
big
couple
used
times,
fire, yeah.
there's a ladder truck for sale.
No, there's no. That ladder truck's for sale because it didn't pass inspection,
Probably.
Okay.
And it's still for sale.
and it's still for sale.
Everybody happy and healthy?
Yep. Yep.
Was that Thornton officer up there? Is he part of our new staff?
No,
Oh,
we
he
just invited him up for a coffee with
Oh.
a cop to, cause he's the new chief.
Oh,
And it's actually Carrie Miller's husband.
gotcha.
And we invited him to up if you wanted to come up, and he decided to come up and meet some
Nice.
people up here, so.
Good.
Did you give him your muffin complaint?
No, I didn't know it was, I didn't know why he was there, I didn't talk to him. All right, so everybody's happy, healthy, the equipment, we've got a new cruiser on order,
Not yet,
okay?
we're just doing some.
You heard, everyone heard
not-
about the cruiser?
We're not ordering that until after town meeting, like,
Yeah.
we don't have any
Yeah.
money to do
You
that.
heard about it, we lost a cruiser,
No, what happened?
caught on fire,
Got 'em.
Caught on fire?
yeah,
Oh.
the seat.
Good thing we're
Heated
firefighters.
seats.
Fortunately, they left it outside of the building, so it didn't catch the building on fire, so.
Does it, do we, I'm just curious, do you have insurance that covers? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, not,
No,
not
not the
100%.
replacement course, I understand that. Yeah.
Well, we did, that's one thing we need to talk about on this, so.
Okay, we'll move on to the ratio study results. Anyone?
Yep, so we came up at
100.03.
Yep. 100%, as our indicated ratio for 2017. The only issue in that, in the study, which is exactly what you asked CNP to do, was the vacant land being at 133 because of those sales with the adjacent properties, et cetera. So, I thought that the state study showed you that you got exactly what you had asked him to do. But the total ratio, overall ratio for the town was 100%.
Good.
So we're good.
All right.
All right, and we are looking. at
Now the
op-
question
ops-
is next year.
Looking to the options for another company.
Well, yes, we did do that. We sent out the RFP.
Anyone
and
respond?
nobody responded except CNP. So, the same company that we're currently
Yeah,
using.
no.
So they're the only ones.
All right. All right, we got that. Let's go to old
Is
business.
is that surprising, Mark? That,
It was very surprising.
that no one,
I didn't think, I thought we'd get at least a couple of others. And there are a couple of other companies out there that have been pretty aggressive in other towns, but
Are we too small? Is
Yeah, we're too
the
small.
contract is too small?
Yeah.
Is it what we pay them on the odd years so little?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't, there's no incentive to come up here.
Okay, so let's go to old business. Let's look at the physical, do we wanna get to budget prep late, last, or, let's talk about Cochran's Pond first. What's going on there?
I am just waiting, we finally got the DES to agree to all of the outstanding work that needs to be done, and Haley and Aldrich is working on it. They're gonna verify all of the cost estimates to make sure that the 400 or total project
500,
cost is good. And I should have that in the next day or two,
okay.
so
Okay,
I'll send you an email as soon as I get that.
okay. Budget prep, discussion with town core working group.
Well, that's what you just
Okay,
did.
okay, great. 217 budget update, capital project account carryover.
Yep,
We're gonna
So
go look at that and see what we're gonna,
yeah, I sent that out to you, and I'd like to
is that,
have you approve
okay.
that for the audit.
all right. We wanna go line by line on this, guys, real quick? We're looking to close here, let's look at the closed ones.
Road repair is
repair.
zeroed out, so we can close that out.
Okay, We still have streetlights, we still have Corcoran Pond Engineering. Tecumseh Road sidewalks, we keep always. Building improvements, 15, we're up 90, now 90 cents is fine. The truck repairs, we're zeroed out on that, so we'll close
Yeah.
that. Grinder pump, we'll close. Martin, you wanna look on with me on this?
Here, she's got it.
Okay, Bill, you have it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Mower lease, 264.77. Any reason why?
Nah.
No. All right, so at 15 cents on the
15
cruiser
cents,
lease.
right,
You know,
wow.
glad to see we're watching our dollars.
Can you get a new cruiser for 15 cents?
Yeah.
No, maybe.
Maybe.
Denny, right beside the fire truck.
Yeah.
Or little ladder truck.
Pickup truck purchase, why are we closing the 6,800 out of that, Mark?
Well, we bought the truck.
Okay.
The only one on there is the generator. that I'd
Yeah,
like
I
to
was gonna ask
encumber.
about why do we need more money for the generator?
Well, we don't specifically need it for the wastewater treatment plant, but we have the gas pumps and the maintenance bay. We could use that money if you will encumber it to get a generator that will run the maintenance bay and the gas pumps. It's not a 100% necessary thing, but it is something that we, the last time the power went out, we were out for how many hours? About 12 or so. So being able to,
So we didn't
Do vehicle.
hook those things up when we did this one here?
that's correct.
Or is there one in
There
Jim's
is not
building?
one in Jim's building either.
Would this cover Jim's building?
No,
Would it give them at least lights in Jim's building?
no.
So 15,000 just to run the gas pumps and the
No,
salt shed?
we won't use all of it, but I don't know, I'm thinking
It'll be
probably
around-
around 4,000 of that, we
Well,
would use.
Let me ask you a question. For $15,000, can we get a generator that's gonna run the salt shed, build the basic lights and doors in Jim's building and the gas pumps? Let's make sure we're all wired.
I don't get,
It
That
depends
will-
whether the circuits,
will get
where the
you-
circuits go.
Yeah,
the two, this building and the new building down here are not connected.
no, I know that.
Yeah, but where are the gas pumps? Where does that power come out of?
It comes
Comes
out
out
of
of
this building
the-
up here.
Oh, I thought it would come out
The
of over there.
maintenance, no, it
The
comes out of the
maintenance shed.
maintenance shed,
Yeah.
and that's why we wanna put a small generator there to run it. It's mostly the gas pumps that I'm worried about, the maintenance bay, you know, you can work around, they can come in this building if they needed to.
But what about
do an
your building? Can you
emergency.
get the doors open? Can you get in there? Is there heat in there if we lose power?
If we lose power, we have to manually open and close the doors.
But there's not a lot of electricity in your building, is there?
No, but, well, you have the big unit heaters that are up there.
All right, and if the truck would have been in there and heated, would that have changed our garbage situation?
It wasn't,
It was in there.
Was it heated
yes.
Yes,
and it still froze?
it froze on the drive
Didn't
up.
freeze inside, it froze on
Oh, okay,
the-
no, just,
On the
just
drive
asking
up.
the questions.
On the
I'm
drive
not-
up to Bethlehem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's not gonna help. I don't know, what do you think, Bill?
We can encumber it. It's Mark's next. I'm not in favor of these generators,
Yeah.
but you know that.
Yeah. All right, so, do we need a motion to, change the counts,
Well, just to adopt them,
adopt this?
yeah, the encumbrances and the closing
Yeah.
the accounts as,
All right, I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
all right, we'll sign everything all at once, cause you got several things here.
This has to be
Yeah.
signed.
All right, so we've done that. Capital fund carry correspondence. DOT bridge inspection results, we've passed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Keno, we've decided we're not gonna play.
Right,
Not this year.
not this year, that's okay.
UNH Cooperative Economic Assistance, yeah.
Yeah,
let's get
there's,
them.
if you wanna have a meeting with that gentleman, we'll get him here.
Yes, we definitely want that person to come up. Did you
Okay.
have a chance to read that, Bill? The guy who will give us assistance in economic development?
No,
Yes, we'd love to talk to him.
From the co-op.
absolutely.
Yep, all right. I'll have
He's
him-
from the where?
He's from the University of New Hampshire Cooperative Extension,
Okay, sure,
works with them.
yeah.
All right, privilege of the floor number 2. Reggie, anything else? Want to try to go for 24? Okay. All right, board concerns and directives. Does anybody have anything? All right, Mark, do you have anything else for us?
Yeah, a couple of other things here, I wanna make sure.
Oh, I didn't.
There's a double sign here.
I'll get that.
Oh, I didn't sign
There's
this.
two.
I'll send it back in a minute.
There's, Mike needs to sign that,
Sign permit.
sign
Yep.
permit. Okay, so we took care of end of year. Budget summary, so we need to finalize the budget to move forward to the hearing on February 7th. You asked, we made all of the changes, and I sent you out the revised
Yes.
budget
Yeah,
with recommending use of 100,000 of the fund balance, okay?
Okay,
Right.
this is it right
And
here.
That's that budget, the new budget, which if we use 100,000 of fund balance, making all of the changes that we have talked about during the department head discussions.
Okay, the one
um,
question I have before we go into this
Mhm.
thing is that Parks and Recreation service position in this new budget?
Yes, it is.
I don't,
It was in the original budget.
yep,
And it's
Okay.
still there, but you had asked, and that's the first thing on my list to
Right.
talk about, is you had asked about what, Bill had asked, what are you
Yeah.
gonna see that's new or different?
Yeah,
So the list, Brooke and
Yeah.
Jim worked on the list. These are the visible items that, in their estimation, are gonna be what the town is gonna be able to
is there another copy of that?
see.
You got it right
You got
there.
it right there.
Ah, okay.
Budget won't download, by the way.
Okay. You can
oh,
share.
here it is, Mark.
You can, oh yeah, right, I got it right here. Do it. There you go. So, that is the list. I wish Brooke were here, to talk to you about it, but that's, the list that we've developed.
Oh, they're gonna take care of Stone Tower.
Stone Tower, wow.
Did you know that they wrote up Stone Tower in New Hampshire
Yes,
magazine?
yes, I did.
Yeah, okay.
I actually posted it, shared it on Facebook.
And Jim, in addition to these things, Jim, there is deferred maintenance. It's not visible to the town, so it's hard for us to quantify it or explain it to folks. But there is deferred maintenance that Jim is, there is maintenance that Jim is deferring during the summer months that this position
Yeah.
would allow him to do in addition to this
Yeah.
list of items.
I don't
So-
see a lot of winter stuff on this list.
No, and my reaction, if Brooke wants to hire someone for the summer
Mhm.
to do some of these, to do the things that are on that list that are visible around the beach and the rest, I'd be okay with that.
Okay,
But I don't see the necessity of a full-time position.
okay.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't see this as a $45,000 cost.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So if you could show me,
Is it a 6-month position? I mean,
No,
does
this
it start
is a
in May?
year round. This
Does it
is
start-
only part of the year.
When we say, for the summer,
This is,
but do we mean May to October?
Yeah, well, I don't know
Yeah.
when you can hire a
yeah,
kid.
but she doesn't think she can hire someone on a part-time basis to do this. She thinks she needs to make this a full-time
Well,
position with benefits.
I can't believe that all these summer, kids going to high school and the rest and going to college, none of them want to work anymore.
But they all
Or they
disappear,
all have jobs.
disappear August 15th.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
that. It would have to be what she could do between May 1st and August 15th. It wouldn't
Right.
be,
Oh, no, I've
There
got you
wouldn't
here.
be
I'm just-
anything beyond that.
I'm just
right?
not seeing a lot of what are you gonna do to
Right.
keep this, how many times can they clean the bathroom at the rec center? You know,
Right.
that's all we're seeing on here, is keeping the pickleball court clean. You know, doing lights displays and all this other stuff for holiday months.
Well, that was in addition to being
Yeah.
utilized by Jim.
Well, it's not saying
This
that in
was-
this. See,
Well, no, you asked what would be different. And
Yeah.
again, we didn't put
There's a-
Jim on there because Jim's work is not new or.
how would
it's-
this help you, Jim? How would this position help you out?
Well, one of the biggest things would be, I could free up some time to do what Mark referred to as maintenance that we've been deferring.
Give me some examples, please.
We have 90 fire hydrants in town. They all need to be open, closed, tested, and most of them need to be painted, number one. Number two, I haven't got the count, but we have so many gate valves and gate boxes that need to be cleaned out. If there's a break, we go to the nearest one, and if it's plugged, we have to go to the next
Yeah.
one, to the next one.
Okay, back to my question.
So-
Can this stuff be done in the winter? The stuff you're talking to me about doesn't seem like
Right,
winter
no.
stuff. I wanna know what this person can do for you this time of year. You know,
This
we're
time of
over the
year?
holidays, they've done with their decorating. We've got January, February, March, April.
You can
through
drive
March.
a
Would this,
plow truck.
would this allow you not to, hire seasonal labor?
Well, we don't really have seasonal.
I don't have,
We don't
yeah.
have anybody.
Oh, we
that's
don't have
seasonal
any
right now.
part-time?
No, we
No,
only
they
had that
come
when
in
people
We,
were hurt.
we,
Winter.
we
No.
eliminated that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just, you know, this will help me go towards seeing about finding the position. What can that person do for you in the winter? How is that person gonna make your life and this life easier for the rest of the people? Because I know how hard they're working.
Right, and it would be another person to, every person I can put into a machine out on
Right.
the road gets us out of here quicker.
Right, but will they need a a special kind of
No.
license to do,
No.
you don't need a special license to drive a plow?
A lot of times I end up because we have such a big yard, I have to keep Chris, I have to keep the path clear for Chris's emergency vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. That takes one guy for a storm. So-
Do we have enough equipment for that other
Yes.
person to drive
Yeah.
and use? So that person, as part of the job description, would be in the winter, they would be
They would
doing
work.
snow removal and,
That's right.
Right, and especially around, around here, because the yards take quite a bit of time.
And we are gonna,
And
we'll,
there's a lot of shoveling to be done, and, and,
All right.
and the load, we put the pusher on the loader, and then we got the salt trucks coming in, and we gotta load them, and,
all right,
there's a
so
lot
what
of-
would they be doing before the snow season, November, that kind of time? I'm just thinking of the dead times when we have nothing going on in the valley. What kind of stuff would they be doing for you?
Just trying to think,
well, that would be
a lot
the,
of, yeah. we
the
could-
deferred maintenance.
Yeah,
the
no, no,
stuff that
I'm-
we're-
I'm-
so
Up
the gate-
until the ground freezes, and it's that, I can be doing deferred maintenance,
Yeah.
yeah.
we'll put in the number for the part-timer if that's the way you wanna go.
I'm thinking back, and, cause I don't wanna discourage Brooke,
Mhm.
right? She picked up on an idea that we've said all along, that we're gonna have to invest a little bit
Yeah,
more money
sure.
in this valley, all right? I see that as big ideas, not little ideas.
Mhm.
And so I would encourage you to keep thinking about what are the big things we could do that would make a difference. I mean, and this is just, well, we'll pick up the trash, and there's no question that they would make us look better. And I don't have a problem with using a college kid in the summer to
Right.
walk around and pick up trash. I mean, if that'll help. But I wouldn't want to discourage you from thinking about, what do we really want to do? Because I think she kind of came in and said, well, give me some resource and I'll figure out what it is we could do. I'd like to give me some thoughts, and then we'll you know, maybe we'll authorize the resources to do it. But there's no question that we should be investing more in this valley.
Yeah,
Well, or otherwise, no homes are gonna be
yeah,
built, sold.
no.
Right. Okay,
So where do we stand on this position? Margaret, thoughts?
yeah.
Talking $45,000, is that
Well,
what it's?
It was, that's what
46.
it
Oh,
came
45,
out to that with
46.
potential of, you know, with retirement and with insurance.
That's only an 8-month that's only 8 months of that position too.
Right.
It's not a year's worth.
So it'd be
of
60.
cost. It'd be 50, 55.
I think we've gone down this road before. We did it with, you know, with Dan when we had the, you know, we had the WVAIA. Well, we'll combine them with the Curious George and we'll
Yeah.
make it a full-time position. And they had this this big list of things. Oh, we're gonna make this a, you know, we're gonna develop all these programs. They didn't do anything. Yeah.
Right.
But if there were specific programs that would enhance this
Yeah.
valley, you know, like people would really want to come for them, you know, we could figure out how to do skeet shooting, that'd do it.
The skeets are endangered.
But I don't
Well,
think
but-
the police would like a skeet shooting on Packard Field, right?
But what if we, let me just
Depends what
throw,
direction.
let me throw this out. Let me throw this out from left field. What about if we propose this as a 6-month position with an opportunity to make it full-time? Now, I'm just throwing alternatives out, Mark. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
what I
screw
was-
up things.
What I was running across in my mind when you asked the question was, why don't we try it? You know, see if
Yeah.
it makes a difference.
Yeah, no, I agree that we need, the idea about having someone here beautifying things, following, and this is their specific responsibility, that if this isn't done, this is the person who's supposed to do it, and all that stuff for a lot of these projects, are what we need to start spending money into. But the question that I have is, what is that full-time person going to do?
Right?
You know, if there's no snow, if there's no this, they're gonna sit around. You know, and what if the person doesn't wanna do
See,
that?
my model is our friend Craig over there in the golf course.
Yeah.
He took a dilapidated, I hate to say it, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you know, and he put some energy in and
Yeah.
thought, how can I make this a
Right.
better venue? And I think he has attracted people that are using it now that weren't using it before.
How about we fund the position on a probationary period?
But when it gets right down to
Yeah.
it, we'll like the person and then we won't get rid of them even though they don't do anything.
Yeah, I know, I know.
You're gonna have to, for me to be convinced, you're gonna have to say, these are specifically the things we're gonna do, and they're gonna generate more use of rec resources because we've done this.
Hmm.
We're gonna have more people signing up for rec programs.
It's gonna increase revenue, it's going,
Well,
But-
you know, I don't, you know.
no, it's, well, that's what,
Right.
yeah. So Margaret, back to you. You're our human resource expert.
I understand what all of this is, I understand what Jim is saying, but I still don't feel like it's a full-time job.
Right, no, yeah, that's my reaction.
I say let's bring it back to the drawing board, see if we can find someone to start the summer, and if the summer works well, we'll find a way to keep it and expand it.
Okay, so, yeah, we'll delete it out. She did reduce her part-time wages by 6,300, so to put this in.
Yeah.
So we'll reinstate
63,000 or
6,300.
Okay, just wanted to
So
check.
we'll
Yeah.
reinstate that, and then I'll ask her if how much we would have to pay and figure out the hours for
Yeah.
just a summertime maintenance type person
Yeah.
for the beach, which will help you in some of your maintenance issues. So we'll put
And
in
why
a,
don't you over budget it a little
Yeah.
bit, because we can maybe keep
it's not
that
gonna be
person
anywhere
on
near the
through the
46.
fall
Right.
to maybe help you get your deferred maintenance
Yeah,
done.
so, yeah, we'll, so we'll do that.
We rent that beach.
They're renting it
When
out quite a
people-
bit.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but people, they pay a fee.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think that was part of Brooke's point, was that if the beach was taken better care of, she could maybe double rent it instead of just singly
Right.
renting it.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
to
no,
try to
I
increase
Well,
got you,
the
Nolan.
revenue there.
you're gonna have, you would have to come forward and say that.
yeah, yeah. So we'll
Okay.
put something in there to replace it, but we'll take that specific
Okay,
item out,
all right.
okay? So let's talk, if we can, about the, capital projects. So those are on the second page of the summary sheet.
Yep, that's it.
I highlighted, or I have, several items shaded there.
Yep.
Those constitute the $100,000 for, now they total more than 100,000 because the cruiser replacement, we have a capital reserve of 25,000. We have, approximately $10,000 in cash, and the insurance company has said that they'll pay for all of the equipment replacement and the remarking of the
Yeah.
new cruiser. That comes out to roughly 10,000.
Yeah.
And then we would use the balance of the 40K, which is somewhere between 5 and 7,000, depending on how much the equipment replacement is, from fund balance. So I rounded that off to $10,000 total.
So that reduces
So
your gray
that
items by 30.
That's right. Okay, so then it totals out to the
Okay.
100K. That is what gets us to the 110,590 reduction on page 2 in the estimated taxes
Right.
to be raised. So we'd be looking at a tax rate estimate that would be down
82%.
3.88%.
And
Okay.
I don't see the music festival.
No, and the
warrant
music
article.
festival would be another special warrant article,
Yeah.
so we would need to add that back in. Okay, so that's the capital. We're gonna leave the 300 in there. Now, this number, the 1,100,000 would change depending on what happens with the, well 3 project. But then we would be reducing the bond proceeds, so the revenue would be down by that same amount, so. Whatever, that change will not affect this amount to be raised by taxes. Unless we decide to do,
Are you still on
Cash.
page 2?
yes, still
Okay.
on page 2.
And,
So those are all
Okay.
projects that we talked about.
all right, and do you have the definition of the 1,000,001 on bonds? Is there a sheet on that?
Well, that's the 300,000 plus the
Right.
400,000.
Okay, that's
Right.
what, I just,
Yeah.
it was 20 minutes ago,
Yeah,
it
no.
was a long time for me.
It was a long time. It's okay, Mike.
I tend
You
to
almost
Sunday.
tricked me because I'm going like, what? Yeah, okay. So if that 400 for well 2 changes, the only way that the bottom line tax would change is if we did it buy cash
irrelevant,
instead of
right.
bonding.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but we'll get that answer.
Well, I'm wondering though, if for some reason after your discussion with the well company, that they come back and say, you know, you'd be better off doing the $100,000 stuff.
Yeah,
Cause that's about the same risk as doing the other
Yeah.
thing. All we're gonna spend is 100 this year, would we bond it?
well, that's my question.
I don't think we
Why would we
should.
need to bond 100?
I don't think
Yeah.
we would bond 100. If we go that route,
Mhm.
I don't think we
Yeah.
need to bond it.
No, I agree with you.
Okay.
We would just come up with the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, well,
Well,
there's
no,
two ways
I
to
mean,
come up with the
it come
money.
out of
Do
the
you
tax
want it-
rate, yeah.
Yeah, you want it to be in the tax
Yeah.
rate,
Yeah,
or do you?
right,
Okay.
you put it in the tax rate, yeah, no, we gotta pay for it.
Yeah, no, I know. Would you be willing to go to 150,000 of fund balance use so that we could still give some kind of a tax break here? If we have to come up with 100,000 in cash,
Right.
do we,
I
can
think
we do half of it
I think I would reserve that decision whether to use more fund balance until later
at
in the
tax
year.
rate setting?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Who
So I'll put
knows?
it
I
all
mean,
in
you
as
know,
cash.
who knows what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
future
All right,
will bring.
okay. And are you all set with all of the other departments?
Okay, did you add the new charitable giving in?
Yes, the new
this?
charitable giving is in this number. It's on page 1, and it is line item 4415 towards the bottom. Towards the
15,
bottom.
health agents, 25, so we're
So
going up
there's
6,000.
There's 6,000.
And have we covered everybody in there?
That takes care of all of the requests except for a
And-
transportation company. That's a nonprofit transportation company that is requesting, let me just see here, hold on.
They were requesting
Whatever the
sees
town
fit.
wants to do, but they say that they have a person that they're serving here in the community that we're not sure
That
who
they
it
really are.
is,
Maybe
and
they're confusing us with the estates.
they
I
may
could
be.
call them and find out
What-
specifically.
Yeah, all right.
Because they say that there's a resident, and it was actually in October, that was inquiring about a ride to dialysis 3 to 4 times a week, and that ride would cost them approximately $140 per ride. But like Mark
To
said, maybe
Dartmouth.
they're getting us confused with
Yeah.
the estates, because
we don't have
other
any.
folks don't know of
And-
anybody needing dialysis in the valley, so I could call and get more specifics and make sure they're not confusing us with the
Yeah.
estates. I mean, for the first step in that one.
Okay.
But they didn't have a specific number that they were asking for, they just said whatever the town sees fit.
And the senior citizens council, I'd like to give them more money because as we get older, you know, they're gonna be providing more services. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
And Mark, just walk me through on the personnel calculation sheet.
Mhm.
The
What
bottom
page are
line
you on?
shows the town totals, right?
Yes.
For the various things. What's the line below it? What we paid last year for
Yes.
those things?
Yep.
Okay,
What page are you on, Bill?
I'm on I don't know, has it got a page number? 18? 1/9/2018. I don't know if it's got a number.
Do you have the big copies?
So
he's not
we've got a
able to see these.
1.8%
I can see it.
increase in salary
Well, these are really tiny.
and
I
wages.
don't think we have, no, she's got.
Oh,
These are the numbers that he's talking about.
okay.
And this was the dollar change, so the first number, the 1,309,000 was
Yeah.
what we did last year.
Yeah,
And then the next line down is the dollar change
right.
from 17 to 18.
So to help me understand why it's gone down,
Well,
Could it be
because-
part of our retirement, the early buyout?
No,
None of that's
we
fallen out?
eliminated the.
oh, that's right, the carryover
Position.
Tim.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
well, no, we eliminated the temporary position in municipal services, the full-time
right,
position, replaced that with a part-timer
all right.
And then we had reduction in wages because we hired a new person
Now,
in
would
place of a,
the wages for the new
long-term
rec
employee.
position have been in here or not?
yes, they are in there.
They are in there, so it's
Yeah.
going down even more.
Yes, it is.
Where is that Parks?
That's the
labor?
parks, yes, that's the parks labor.
Yeah.
Yep, so it's going down even more.
That's the killer,
The
right?
wages, a lot of it is wages.
Yeah.
The
Right.
previous employees that were in those positions, the new employees obviously are
Are not
starting.
as, starting it, yeah.
Much lower,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
So the total head count, the number of people that the town is employing hasn't changed.
Well, right now we're at 20, predicting 21. Last year it was at 21.
Oh, well, all
That's
right, yeah, that's fine. So last year we had 21, and we're predicting, we're
To come back
project,
To
up
come
to
back
21.
up
to
to
21
21, because we're
and-
at 20 right now.
and what's the position we're missing right now?
The
MSW.
MSW position,
The
The-
MS,
the,
oh,
uh,
the
wastewater,
the wastewater,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah,
MSD.
right, because we're going to fund an extra
To
wastewater
try to get
to
someone.
try to
in.
get somebody the
trained up.
expertise to do
Yeah.
it. And you've hired him?
No.
No,
we're
you
not
haven't
doing-
found one
We're
yet.
not gonna, well, we're not even looking until after town meeting.
I think you could safely look.
Mark, what's to look for?
Okay, I'll look.
Well, you
It's
know,
not gonna be an easy position.
Yeah, I would start looking rather earlier than later.
right. We're all in agreement that we have no choice but to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
you know, I'm not saying you have to rush right
No,
out
no,
and
no,
do it,
right.
but
I would get some pictures of, like, make it look like it's a very tropical work environment, maybe a small land.
Can be.
Yeah. All right.
all right.
All right, so,
Margaret, anything else with the budget?
any other,
No.
all right, let's see.
And how, and just help me, how much is the health insurance gone up this year?
It's very small, it's like 0.3.
23?
3.5,
3.5.
3.15.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the rate? Yeah, but we don't have apples and oranges in terms of numbers of people.
doesn't change.
What was the rate change this year?
The rate change was a 3.5% increase,
Really?
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
And we won't see any changes
But we won't
from
see
that
any
until
changes until July
Remember,
1.
we don't, it's a
We don't-
half-year thing.
It's only a half year at a time.
Right. Okay. Well, that's not bad.
Okay. Bill, any more budget questions?
Not right now.
All right.
So, well, okay, so am I finalizing these numbers to go to the budget hearing, or do you want
We
to meet
wanna
again?
talk to Brooke.
Finalize these numbers to go to the budget hearing.
Wait a minute, we wanted to talk to Brooke about what the part-time position would cost, if she wanted
Well, I'll
to.
send you those numbers.
Okay,
Yeah.
But,
all right.
but you want me to do
I
the
think you could
part-time
safely put the
position?
part-time, take the full-time and put
Out.
the part-time in
Okay,
and take it to the budget hearing, and if
Okay.
we wanna get rid of it, we'll get rid of it after
Okay.
that.
All right, good. All right,
all right,
and we will expect some stuff back from the well people
yeah.
and more with Brooke. Anything else before we go into non-public?
Do you want to, did you sign you signed the assessing contract? The only other thing was Conway Fire. So the Conway Fire District, about the service on
Oh,
the
yeah.
Canandaigua. So they sent us.
A bill?
No, an agreement. No bill in 2018. So we won't get our first bill until 2019.
We've had the last
And-
40 years for free.
We've had the last 40 years for free, so it's
They
been
don't
pretty
back bill,
good.
do they?
No, they do not back bill.
And how much will this cost us a year?
Well, it will depend on how many calls there are, because they're gonna do $250 an hour with a 2-hour minimum,
Okay.
for the calls, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then they will bill us, in arrears, basically, so we will budget it, the actual number for 2018 and
Did I miss this? I don't
19
know what we're talking about.
I know exactly, yeah, I remember
Yeah, we
this.
talked about this.
Are
It's
we
a-
the only ones, Chris, that are in this thing with Conway?
Yeah, well, on this side of Conway.
Yeah,
know,
okay.
They may have gone out to, well, Albany.
I mean,
Albany's
have they hit Lincoln and all
well,
the,
It doesn't affect
They don't go to
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
They don't go
Okay.
to Lincoln.
They go to Albany and,
What can
It's
do you know what we're
service,
talking
it's,
about, Margaret?
it's emergency
Do you know what we're talking
service.
about?
it's
Yeah,
emergency
because there's a
Emergency
piece
services
of
service
Waterville
on
Valley
on the
that's in
Kankamankos
middle
Highway.
Okay,
of
There's
the
a
Kank.
mile of highway on
yeah.
the Kank that is in Waterville Valley.
okay.
Conway Fire District covers,
Okay.
Covers it.
gets dispatched.
Where's
for
this mile of Kankamangas and I know I'm
Saturday
bad with.
Falls.
what?
Saturday Falls.
Yeah.
So they actually are calls
Yeah.
that go to Sabbath Day Falls, that's
Yeah.
the problem.
Right.
What is this, basically Forest Service people, people that
No,
are?
Conway, the
Conway
fire
Fire
department
Department.
goes there.
No,
for-
I know, but why would people go to
Oh.
Sabbath Day Falls?
Well, there's motor vehicle accidents, there's been, fatality out there actually,
Yeah.
a couple of years ago.
Really?
A
Yeah.
car fire or search and rescue off of Saturday Falls from them hiking.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So we have to sign that contract?
Yeah, I mean,
they,
if
just
Go
to,
ahead.
they don't go there very often. I think they went there.
10 calls in several years.
Yeah, in like 5 years. it
5
was
years.
10
Oh,
calls.
well, all right, so I'm not,
So we're
And
not,
they're gonna notify us immediately if they have an extended call
Right.
out there, so that we can go out. If they're gonna be out there for 5 hours, we might as well. be
How
around.
long would it take us to get there?
About 40 minutes. But like if it's a search and rescue, we'll certainly.
Yeah,
do
okay.
that.
send a drone.
All right. So is that it?
that is.
All right, can we have an
The
motion?
rest is non-public.
Can we go into non-public? A motion to go into non-public at
Thank you.
5:14.